So Obama isn't making any changes in Guantanamo or, as yet, particularly Iraq, but he does denounce the same policies when under President Bush, making his policies on his foreign policy about the same as his position on gay marriage. Denounce Bush for having the same policy. Even what was supposed to be so wonderfully new about Obama, his message of hope and change and bringing people together, are just the same old political cliches. What most people said about Obama is, it's fresh, it's new, but is it substantive? I ask, is it new? I've been hearing that speech since I was 9 years old. He runs for president on hope and change and bringing people together. Has anyone ever run a presidential campaign on despair, the status quo, driving people apart? I mean, other than Ralph Nader. The big mantra of the Obama campaign was change. Here are a few campaign quotes you'll recall. I think the hunger for change in this country is so great that people want something new. People are going to vote for change. I think we will win this election if we talk about bringing real change to America. There's enough people in this country that want change. The primary issue in this campaign was the economy and the desire for change. Those are all campaign quotes, but not from the Obama campaign. That's from the Clinton campaign in 1992. And of course, Clinton's signature line was, I still believe in a place called hope. I think we all know where Clinton's place called hope is. Any place Hillary isn't. Democrats finally won a presidential election after 12 years, after Clinton's last election, and they're proclaiming the end of the Republican Party. I don't think I'd be hanging out the mission accomplished sign just yet. Besides Obama now having lower public approval ratings than even President Carter at this stage in his administration, look at how Obama won. He had the mainstream media, the European Union, and Oprah on his side. In fact, in a poll in Germany shortly before the election, 80% of Germans said they supported Obama. And we all know how infallible the Germans are at picking great leaders. Meanwhile, Obama was running against John McCain. It's amazing McCain lost by only 7 points and not 75 points. Beating John McCain is the equivalent of George Foreman in his prime beating Helen Thomas in a 12th round technical knockout. Which, come to think of it, I'd pay good money to see. I just hope Republicans aren't this insufferable every time we win an election. I don't think we are, and I think we'll be able to test that theory in about 16 months. The last time the Democrats were so cocksure of their eternal dominance and the end of the Republican Party was when in 1964 when Lyndon Johnson beat Barry Goldwater in a massive landslide. You think 28 states is impressive. LBJ won 44 states. And you remember what a big success LBJ was. Let's review Lyndon Baines Johnson accomplishments. LBJ started the war on poverty 40 years ago, and we're still waiting for an exit strategy on that quagmire. Hey, liberals, how exactly would you define victory in the war on poverty? I only ask because that was your big showstopper of a question with Iraq. President Johnson escalated the war in Vietnam to prove that Democrats could fight. So 58,000 American men died to prove that Democrats can be trusted with national security. No wonder the term Johnson-esque never really caught on, except in the adult film industry. It's interesting that Obama's admirers in the media keep comparing him to Lincoln and Reagan. They apparently can't find a Democrat president worthy of being compared to. The 1964 landslide for Johnson was not only the last high water mark of the Democrats, it was virtually the last mark they left on history. That's if you don't count stains. Between LBJ's election and Obama's victory this past November, 44 years later, the Democrats have been able to trick the American people into giving them a majority of their votes only one other time, in 1976, following Watergate, when Carter beat Nixon. Think of that, even Ford, it was after Watergate, after Nixon resigns in disgrace. You have an unelected president, Gerald Ford, and Carter could only win by 50.1% of the vote. That's almost as pathetic as only getting 53% of the vote running against John McCain. And Carter's reputation has certainly gone up over time. He's become the template for all Americans of what a rotten president is. It's like Carter's presidency is like a Grimm's fairy tale. Even people who weren't alive know the horror and the tragedy of the Carter years. You will notice that Republican presidents always look better in the calm light of history, and Democrat presidents always look worse. To summarize, until last November, the last time the Democrats could get a majority of Americans to vote for them was when green leisure suits were in. So I don't think plans to add Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid's face to Mount Rushmore should be rushed right through just yet. Put those on hold until further notice. To put that another way, and in conclusion, liberals may see Obama's presidency as the second coming, but given his policies so far, I wouldn't count on a second term coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're a very well-dressed mob. And now the fun starts. We have questions. I don't know where. Oh, you're already lined up.
Hey, my name's Courtney Fair, and I'm from Walter State Community College outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. And I'm just wondering, what is your next book, and is it going to be as good as your book, God List?
They're all my children. I think they're all so good. But the next book is top secret for now. I have to observe Democrats a little bit longer.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sandy Erickson. I attend Scottsdale Community College in Arizona. In light of the recent tattletale line at the White House, if Americans dismiss this, do you think the current administration has the potential to overthrow our democracy? Because I'm not seeing much difference between our government asking its citizens to report any fishy material and the Nazi Party asking people to turn in those who oppose them.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, especially with Obama's public approval ratings. I mean, I have to say, I thought it would take about a year for Americans to turn against the administration, because a lot of people don't pay attention to politics. Reagan's first year, unemployment was high. We were in a recession, but he was putting in place policies that would lead to the economy roaring back. And I thought we're going to have to listen. I mean, all these Americans voted for Obama, and also Americans are just naturally optimistic people. So I thought it would be a year, and no, the big GM takeover, the bailouts, the favors to government insiders and relatives of Nancy Pelosi and John Murtha. These town hall meetings and the teabag parties and the public approval ratings. I mean, this is really... It's really great. I mean, I'm proud and impressed by the wisdom of the American people that they've figured out this so quickly. I guess it's harder. I also thought it would be harder to explain to Americans the free market in an area where they haven't experienced it before, i.e. health care. I mean, it is basically socialist right now. We have Medicare, Medicaid. But no, there are veterans hospitals, free service at hospitals. You have the government controlling or rather creating an incentive so that most people get health care from their employers. You don't really have a choice. There is no free market either in health insurance or in health care. And no, I'm usually explaining what should be done to health care to Americans. I feel like I'm trying to explain to an old Soviet woman right after the fall how she's going to get bread if the government doesn't provide it. But no, Americans are smarter than elected Republicans are. They understand what should be done, and certainly smarter than elected Democrats.
Thank you.